I'm not like a huggy, touchy people, but like I got hugged 5 times by this man I never met. I felt so uncomfortable.
2, 1, action. Okay.
Well, that's how we start.
Reina, just yesterday, I was like, I should have won.
I'm so glad I'm taping this.
I'm not ashamed. I am not ashamed. Alright, my name is Reina Thomas. I am an American Studies major. I think that's what you asked me. Basically, I'm just going to talk about the reasons why I want to be a teacher. It's mainly due to my educational experiences from my time, from pretty much high school, when I started to understand our educational system and realized that my experience was not something that should have been the norm. And the first time this really began for me was when I was sent to Kenyon. Sent to Kenyon when I was first time I was sent to Kenyon, I was going into my junior year of high school. Now, my teacher sent me there because I was so bored in class that I would skip class and school to go, like, she'd catch me like during her lunch breaks, either at the library or she would come pick me up at my house because she knew I was skipping her class to read, because that's what I do. I'm a nerd. I own it. So her and my mom were getting upset because I had gotten a truancy, so because I had missed that many days of school from not going. So as a punishment, they sent me to Kenyon Young's writers program. Yes, my punishment was a writing program. It was punishment. Just gonna throw it out there. I did that program, and while I was doing the program, I noticed that a lot of the books that my peers were referencing, that my instructors were referencing, had never read. And it were things like The Crucible or a Shakespeare play. And I was like, I guess it sounds like I'm supposed to be reading this already. And the only one we have is like the real ghetto version of it. It's like the 6-page one where it's like Romeo and Juliet or something. It's like a ghetto-fied version of the actual story, which wasn't, you know. So I started realizing that there's something that I was missing when I was sitting in that classroom, and I realized that their language was different from me, the way in which they spoke, the way in which they wrote, everything completely different. And I just thought, I was just like, I want to like attribute our differences because you come from, the only thing I could tell immediately was that I was black, the only black kid there, and the rest of my peers were white. It was like, I'm like one of the few poor kids here. The rest of you pretty much have money. And I started realizing, is there like a connection between my race and my socioeconomic class that is differentiating our actual educational experiences? And I couldn't put that into words, of course, while I was in high school. So after the program, went back to school, still doing the same thing, still skipping class. So then they sent me back to Kenyon again to do the SCAT program. And during the SCAT program, it's a 3-week program for high school students who are considered gifted or rank as one of the highest in their class. And during this program, we take 2 classes. We take a neuroscience class with Professor McFarland, and then we take an Intro to African American Studies course with Professor McNair. So during the program, it was a lot of complaining and whining because they had us literally, it was the most intense workload I had ever had prior to this. I mean, like, we literally did nothing but sleep, write, read, write another paper, and then you can go to sleep. That was it. Like, we had like 30-minute playtime. Our phones were gone, so none of us could text, so it was just a bunch of complaining and whining. But I didn't mind it because it was like the first time I was actually being challenged. But I'm one of those people, I get annoyed by people complaining a lot. When you complain, that nothing bugs me more. So one day I was just really fed up with some of my peers. They were just complaining about the workload, and it just got to me. And so class had been dismissed for the day, and I was still sitting in the classroom, and I was talking to one of the other young ladies in the program. And I was just like, I'm just really tired of hearing people complain. I was like, it's really not that big a deal now. Like, we've already written 3-4 papers. So by now, this should be becoming something that's routine and easy and not really that difficult if you put the work in. And Professor McFarland just happened to be hearing the conversation. He was like, he had just happened to be walking in, and I think he already had the kind of a sense that we didn't appreciate the fact that we were here. And so he asked me what it was I was talking about, told him. And then he went up to the chalkboard and he drew a bell curve. So he began to like tell us what this bell curve meant. And he was like, okay, so we're gonna put 2 bell curves on this board. And so he told us like, the middle is where everyone is. This is the average, okay? He said this, as you know, this is the lowest because this is where the line declines. He was like, and this over here, these are the people who are considered exceptional. He's like, so we're gonna base this off of your school. This first curve, these people in the middle, the average people, are the rest of your peers. And you're considered exceptional at your school. Now, if we take this same scale and we compare it to this other bell curve, your exceptional will probably be not in the average section, not in the exceptional section, but in that lower end scale because your work is being dumbed down in school. And that blew my mind. I don't know what it was about that moment. It just really hit me where I was just like, they're dumbing down my work. Like, are you trying to say that my peers and I were not smart enough? We're not capable of doing the work? No wonder like no one has any hope in the system if you're dumbing down our work and telling, like, you're not even giving people a chance or an opportunity to do better and to be better. And that frustrated the hell out of me. And it just kind of just lit a fire for me. So when I went back to finish out my last year of high school, I was just on it. I like stopped missing class, kind of, sort of. But I definitely was taking my work more seriously. I knew that before I could get an A without trying. But for once, I was actually like, I want to produce quality work. I want to produce work that I'm going to be proud of. And that my teachers can look at and say, wow, she really took it to another level. She didn't just give me, like, she didn't shortchange me. And that started off my motivation. That's why I ended up applying to college. I had no intention of applying to college. I didn't even think it was possible for me to go to college. But I had one teacher, Miss Mulvihill. She was the one that kept sending me to Kenyon because she was obsessed with Kenyon. And because she was just like, you're too smart, you're acting so dumb. She was one of those teachers like that would like quietly, well, it wasn't really quietly. She would like cuss, like, well, she cussed me out once and it blew my mind, but it's another story. But she really made me go through the application process. I was like, I don't want to do this. It's stupid. My parents don't have money to send me to school. I'm just getting 9 to 5. I'm okay with that. I graduated high school. That's more than most people can do. She like literally made me sit down in her office, write up all of my essays. She wrote all the recommendations, and she was like, don't worry about the money. Money will come. Just apply. Just apply. Trust me, apply. So I ended up applying to Kenyon because, of course, I had been to Kenyon for the last couple of years. When I got my scholarship package, I was amazed. I was like, oh snap, we in the big time, money. I was more like, I was in this like shock kind of surprise. It's like, oh my God, like this is a possibility. Like I can actually do this. But once I got to Kenyon, I was super nervous because in my head I had that bell curve. Kept thinking of McFarland saying, you're here, this is where you're supposed to be. And so I was already intimidated even before I even came to Kenyon and started doing my work. So like my freshman year, it was just, my grades were just, in my opinion. I wasn't used to seeing B's and C's on papers. I didn't like it, was not interested in it, and I was taking a class with Professor McNair my freshman year. It was just a continuation of the class I was taking during SCAP. And we had a midterm. And I had been studying for this midterm. I felt really good about it. Went in, took the exam, felt excellent about this midterm. And then I got it back. I saw it was a C. And I was ticked. I was so mad. I was just like, just kind of like balled it up and just threw it in my book bag and was just left the class with like an attitude because I was so upset. I was like, I thought I put so much work into this. Like, I memorized all of these terms and I knew who they were and da 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 da. And I remember he called me into his office and he was just like, what's the problem? And I was like, I don't know. I don't understand. What's your problem? Why would you give me a C? Did you not see the answer? What did you want from me? Like, I deserved an A on this. Why did I get a C? And went through like all this, and he just kind of sat there and he was just like, okay, now that you're done, this is the problem that you're having. The problem is that you're trying to measure your work. You're working for a grade. You're not working to learn the material, and you're not trying to engage in the material. He's like, that's what you're supposed to be. You're a student. You're supposed to be a scholar of the information that I'm presenting to you. And I didn't understand what it meant to be a student. All my life I've been taught it was all about get A's. Because if you don't, Reina, I'm gonna beat you up, which is more my mom be like, I don't accept anything but A's. So in my mind, that's A's I thought were what you were supposed to aspire to. I wasn't thinking about the whole knowledge portion of it. I was like, oh, that's good. I'll gain into what I can. And it was just in that moment that I realized what it meant to be a student. Like, that was just another clicking moment for me. And from there, just like my educational experience from my freshman year to now in my senior year has been completely different. I actually I'm taking Roman history. Who likes to learn about Roman history but like nerdy people that you know? Like, other than history majors, who just takes a Roman history class for fun? Just because. Like, I'm taking classes for fun because I want, like, this would be so cool. I want to learn this. I want to know this information and use it. Like, that's more of the approach that I'm coming at, like, my education and, like, learning something completely new and different. Like, I was just learning to get by before. And now I'm learning because I see what an education can give me. I know the tools and resources that come with it. And I know that more now, today, because I just got into grad school, Boston College. What's up, class of 2015? Just throwing it out there. Just got in. What? Yeah. So, I'm sorry. I had to toot my horn real quick. But I was just thinking, like, I did not see myself, like, one, I didn't see myself graduating college, let alone be able to go to grad school and get another hood, because those hoods are fresh. But, like, I'm about to graduate. It's something I never thought would happen, especially when I just kind of reflect on it and I think of all my friends. If I was comparing, in my opinion, my friends are some of the most brilliant, talented people I've ever met. And I think some of them are more intelligent and smarter than me, but yet I'm here and they're not. They're not in college. They're working 9 to 5s. They're taking care of family. They have family that they're taking care of. They're taking care of their mom, their grandmothers. Some of them have kids. And in my mind, I've always been like, what made me so different? We all grew up in the same neighborhood, same race, same religious background, same schools, same teachers. What about my experience made it different? Because in my opinion, I should not be the one standing here between me and my friends. And that's straight up. And I've realized that the one thing that separated me from my friends is that I have an unfailing hope. I can't quit even if I want to. No matter what, it's just part of my nature. I'm going to fight for what I want. I refuse to settle for less at this point in my life. I know that my life has not been the easiest. I know that, like, my parents have struggled to put food on the table. They've struggled to keep a house over our roof. And I was just like, I can't live paycheck to paycheck life. And that was where my hope started. That's the hope that kept me going and going through it. And my friends, I noticed when we were in class, it was very clear in high school that by the time we got there, they had already lost all hope. Like, they were just, like, I was getting there. It was obvious in the fact that I wasn't attending school. But I was still so interested in learning and still went home each day and was just like, I can't live like this that hope is what carried me over. And it's that makes me so excited about the fact that I have the opportunity to go get my master's. Like, I get to bring back, I get to get all this information, get all these tools and all these resources, and I can take all of that and bring it back to my family and my friends. That's all that I can ask. Like, I want to be a teacher so that I can teach my family. I can give them something. I can't have my mom living like she's living. I want to take care of my mom. And I know the only way I can do it is by making myself better, bettering myself as a woman. And that means not only just in my character, it means spiritually, it means emotionally, it means intellectually. And I'm going to do it. I already told you once, but I'm getting put on so I can put on everybody else back on. Like, there's no other way to describe it. Like, best feeling in the world is the knowledge. The thing that keeps me going and drives me right now is the fact that I have the ability and the potential to change so many of the people I love's life. And that, I'm just geeked and pumped up. I'm ready to go get it. What's up, world? How are y'all?